Tyson says he's got to bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking out Joshua.
This is what I'm saying. How does that work?
He can't, can he?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his. So if it goes any other way, you know.
You give me the headline there, by the way.
If it goes any other way, you know it's fixed, don't you?
Fight Anthony Joshua now?
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
Said he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about now?
Yeah.
They're like, what about fight him now?
What you about to fight Jake Paul?
I hate it. And Jake Paul's starting to piss me off.
Jake Paul's boxing career has always been marked by bold challenges and attention-grabbing matchups. But now, the YouTuber-turned-fighter could be facing what many see as the toughest opponent of his journey, Anthony Joshua. While Paul has built a massive fan base and scored some notable victories, many boxing analysts are warning that stepping in the ring with a two-time heavyweight champion is a move that could backfire badly. With Joshua's devastating knockout power and world-class experience against elite competition, experts believe this bout isn't just a gamble. It could bring Paul's boxing ambitions to a harsh end.
Jake Paul has reached out to Anthony Joshua a few times. I've spoken to Nikisa, Jake's manager. It's never a fight we anticipated. It's never a fight we've targeted. But if you want Jake Paul to be the warm-up fight, and obviously financially it's a great opportunity for AJ, and you want to provide AJ and probably in turn Matchroom with the opportunity to extinguish Jake Paul from the world of boxing, then maybe AJ will oblige.
In a recent conversation, Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn revealed that Jake Paul is currently the leading candidate to face Anthony Joshua next. He confirmed that talks are actively underway between Joshua's team and Paul's manager, Nikisa Badarian. While Hearn admitted that the fight would be a highly risky step for Paul, he also highlighted the huge commercial draw it would generate. Based on the current progress, Hearn believes a clash could realistically happen in the early months of 2026.
Jake Paul's manager here last week, and he's open to the fight. Any developments on that?
Lots. I mean, this bizarre world that we live in, I think Jake Paul is absolutely the front runner to fight Anthony Joshua next. I'm here in New York for meetings about that fight. There's an open dialogue between myself and Nikisa, an MVP. I don't know what to tell you, Bridgie, other than it's mental. I mean, I can't sit here and tell you this is a 50-50 matchup. The whole thing is bizarre. I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua.
Paul has also dropped strong hints that a clash with Joshua is on the horizon for next year, sharing that the two have been messaging privately, and that Joshua even phoned him to push the idea forward. According to Paul, Joshua proposed lining up the fight for late 2025, with a full showdown taking place in early 2026. Paul's manager, Nikisa Badarian, backed up that timeline, confirming that serious talks are in motion for what could be a massive event.
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Jake Paul has framed a potential fight with Anthony Joshua as a way to breathe new life into the sport of boxing. He believes the bout would bring a surge of excitement, pull in new fans, and capture worldwide attention. Paul compares his role to a fresh spark in the ring, claiming that his mainstream popularity can attract younger viewers who might not normally watch traditional boxing. He stresses that the sport needs a boost and sees himself as a bridge connecting mainstream entertainment with boxing's longtime audience.
But you said it's you and Joshua here. Now, is this fight done? What are we talking about?
You know, it's going to happen. Like, seriously, it's going to happen. We were talking with Turkey tonight, negotiations live in person, which are always fun. But it's going to happen, and it's just such an exciting fight that crosses the whole globe. When you ask a lot of people about certain boxers, they don't know their names. And everywhere I've been going, I just talk about Anthony, and I don't have, you know, like, I'm global. So it's just such a good fight for the sport of boxing. And people will think I will die, but I will show them why I can rise against all odds and beat him.
Everyone's been wanting to see happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight. And what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money. Get in there. Make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
The boxing world and its fans have reacted strongly to Jake Paul's challenge toward Anthony Joshua. A large number feel that taking on such an experienced heavyweight is beyond Paul's current level and see the move as overly ambitious, if not outright unrealistic.
Right, the real deal respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, "At Jake Paul is the truth. Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights. Then he asked for the toughest fights ever, and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh, crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind. You're right. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying, the co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects in Jake. But in the middle there, I don't know if she would know or, you know, whatever, but she essentially says that Jake was scheduled to fight Gervonta Davis, and she's not the only one saying that. Dan Raphael said the same thing earlier that day or maybe yesterday. I can't believe that that's true or if that was really going to happen. Essentially, the idea being, had Gervonta Davis beat Lamont Roach, he was going to fight Jake Paul next. And this is why I say, like, it's delusional.
Critics point out that Jake Paul's recent moves, including his win over 58-year-old Mike Tyson, reflect a concerning pattern in his career. Many see his decision to fight an aging legend as more of a publicity stunt than a true sporting challenge, raising questions about his dedication to boxing. Well-known names in the sport, such as Carl Froch, have brushed off Paul's performance as lacking real skill, arguing that his rise is driven more by showmanship than by genuine athletic merit.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony, he took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. He's not a joke. You know what I'm trying to say? He took a L there, but Jake Paul, I got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening, it's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face to face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's gonna fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly gonna be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3, because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? You never know.
Eddie Hearn acknowledged the excitement that a fight with Jake Paul could stir up, but also delivered a serious warning for Paul to proceed with caution. He described Paul as daring, maybe even reckless, for pursuing a match against Joshua, a proven heavyweight powerhouse. While the payday for both sides would be massive, Hearn emphasized the huge risks of putting a relative newcomer against a seasoned, battle-tested champion. He didn't hold back, calling it a potential disaster that could end Paul's boxing run entirely, whether through injury or public embarrassment. Despite the buzz such a matchup would bring, Hearn was clear that the dangers far outweigh the spectacle.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
Let's talk about AJ ever so quickly. I watched Jake Paul the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on. I'd like to see it.
Andre Ward has shared his thoughts on the matter, saying that seasoned boxers don't get upset when someone like Jake Paul calls out well-known champions. Ward explained that if it happened to him, he wouldn't take it seriously, adding, I don't have time to entertain the circus. His remarks make it clear that he views Paul's bouts as more spectacle than serious competition. Many other professional fighters have echoed this sentiment, expressing doubt over the legitimacy of Paul's matches.
I understood where Canelo's coming from. Anybody for that matter. If, like you said, if you've been in a fire, how dare anybody come to me and act like I'm supposed to fight you? And, you know, you're a YouTuber that turned to boxing, and I'm a champion walking around here, and y'all acting like I need him. Do you think they're justified in feeling annoyed when people come at them like that about Jake Paul?
I understand completely where Canelo's coming from. If I was an active fighter, I wouldn't entertain it either. You know, when you in the fire and you still in the game like that, you got real issues and beef going on. You got real opponents, like dudes that can really hurt you, that you need to figure out how to beat them and when we go fight and all that kind of stuff. I don't have time to entertain the circus. I don't have time for you to have my name even associated with a dude that ain't really a fighter like that. So I understand completely with it. He ain't got a lot of time to entertain that kind of stuff, but you know how it goes, Stephen A. People say they're not interested in something until that number get large enough and all of a sudden start making a lot of sense.
Dave Ferrer and Spencer Oliver highlighted the heated public discussion surrounding a possible Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, a conversation further fueled by Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Alshik. Speaking during a segment at Wembley, Al-Alshik all but gave the green light to bout, revealing that Paul has already verbally agreed and even accepted an overwhelming 99-1 purse split in Joshua's favor. He described the potential clash as a win-win scenario and a true test of legitimacy.
Where are you on this nonsense?
Where am I? I can't see it happening. I can't. Although yes, lots of money, so on and so forth. I can't see it. I just can't. It just obviously as someone who's been a unified heavyweight world champion going in against Jake Paul, it doesn't. Yeah, and it's like I'm also talking from a health and safety factor. It's like he's maybe a cruiserweight. Yeah. Anthony Joshua's a very big, strong heavyweight, and if he turns it on, it's not just a risk of a knockout. It's a much bigger risk. So I can't see it personally, but it's good talking point, I guess.
Boxing legend Roy Jones offered a cautious perspective on the potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua matchup, one rooted more in practicality than hype. While Jones acknowledged that the fight could take place if Joshua was truly interested, he stressed that it should make sense for Joshua both competitively and financially. Recognizing Joshua as a proven former world champion, Jones confidently stated, "Did you see how Anthony Joshua handled Francis Ngannou? Jake Paul would meet the same fate."
There's rumours circulating he could be fighting Jake Paul next. One, do you think it's good for boxing? And two, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he'd probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fight anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if he want to get a good win to put him back on the scene, that's a perfect win. You get a lot of money doing it.
Tyson Fury has stirred headlines with a bold prediction about a potential clash between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. The former heavyweight champion claimed is certain Paul would knock Joshua out, saying, "Jake Paul chins AJ 100%. I'd back him." Fury even described the fight as a genuine 50-50 contest and went so far as to bet £1 million on Paul to win. His remarks have ignited lively debate in the boxing world, with many questioning the credibility of such a claim. Jake Paul fired back with equal confidence, saying he'd take the bet and even raise the stakes to £10 million on himself to come out on top.
So Tyson Fury just comes out with an interview saying that he thinks Jake Paul will knock out Anthony Joshua. I think this is probably like a troll attempt to get Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury, but then again, I don't know. Maybe Alexander Usyk did more damage than we thought. I think Jake Paul knocks him out, Fury told Ring Magazine when asked about Paul versus Joshua. I just think Jake Paul would knock out Anthony Joshua out. I think Jake Paul is on the rise. I like his new heavyweight look, a bit chubby, a bit bulky, getting there. And he just did a great job over the aging. I mean, fool's like almost 40, you know, and he like was not a fighter for a long time or a boxer, you know. He's just in it for the check and the name value of his dad, you know. Aging Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he was a middleweight, but still. I like how Jake Paul calls out the full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight. Who'd he call out? Tank Davis and Joshua? That's just crazy. I see Richter scale call outs. Exactly. I will say, I don't know, Gervonta Davis could beat him too, even though he does outweigh him by like 60 pounds.
Stephen A. Smith has been outspoken in his criticism of Jake Paul's opponent choices, often dismissing them as either non-boxers or fighters well past their prime. Paul, however, has defended his record, pointing out that he had tried to arrange a fight with Tommy Fury, about Paul claims Fury turned down. This moment stands out in Paul's career, as while he has earned wins over ex-MMA stars and veteran boxers, he has yet to regularly beat rising, active boxing prospects. His February 2023 loss to Tommy Fury remains one of the few times he faced a current fighter in their prime. Smith has also taken aim at Paul's decision to fight boxing icon Mike Tyson, arguing that if Paul truly wants to be taken seriously, he needs to face opponents closer to his own age and skill level, instead of targeting seasoned greats like Anthony Joshua, with far more ring experience. Smith insists Paul must prove himself against active fighters with comparable ability and background to gain real credibility in the sport.
You are beating up on dudes who don't box. They're not boxers.
I was on Disney Channel while these guys were winning UFC championships.
Okay.
You know, I was playing with Mickey Mouse while these guys were throwing arm bars and winning UFC championships. Everyone's, you know, analyzing my career, critiquing it, paying attention to it from day one, but you can't tell me who was Mike Tyson's first fight. You can't tell me who Muhammad Ali, who was his fourth fight. No one knows, but everyone's seen all of my fights. I tried to fight Tommy Fury. Yeah, I tried to fight Tommy Fury and he backed out due to a rib injury. Undefeated, young prospect. He comes from the Fury family. You know, his brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. I tried to fight him and he got scared.
Despite ongoing criticism, Jake Paul has made it clear that his ambitions go beyond boxing, openly expressing interest in a potential showdown with MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul has argued that his own boxing skills are steadily improving, while claiming McGregor's abilities are on the decline with age. Many remain doubtful of this claim, given McGregor's impressive combat sports pedigree and track record. Still, Paul's remarks highlight both his confidence and his calculated approach, targeting high-profile names as a way to boost his profile in the combat sports arena.
I can't buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody? Pretty please with sugar on top. I'm interested.
So, does Jake Paul truly have what it takes to stand toe-to-toe with a heavyweight champion? Or is stepping into that ring a gamble that could cost him everything?